The Winston Finals, we continue on a spectacular fall day in Southern California.
And Joel, you'll notice a lot of construction here, and that's because after years of a very tentative agreement with the LA County Fairplex, the NHRA just signed a 15-year lease and is investing $4.5 million to turn this facility into a drag racing stadium, including this magnificent tower with corporate suites, and over 34,000 permanent seats are being added. The drag racing community can't wait till the first weekend in February when it all debuts at the Winter Nationals. Here's Danielle DePorter. Joel, she's got to be on the high. She was part of this championship decision process, eliminating Bernstein round one.
That was the biggest shock so far this weekend for the 20-year-old from Scottsdale, Arizona. She is going to go up against Doug Herbert.
Doug Herbert is in a backup car because just 2 weeks ago in Dallas, Texas, he flipped his primary car end for end, what the drag racers call a blowover. But this machine has performed very well. Qualified number 6 at a 4.90 second elapsed time. He sent Michigander Jack Ostrander home in round number 1. Now, Danielle DePorter qualified 14th. That's about average for her. We saw her, of course, beat Kenny Bernstein in round 1. But if she can beat Herbert here, Joel, she will move into the top 10 in points and is guaranteed an additional $10,000 in bonus cash. For this struggling team, that's a lot of money. Herbert's got her. No, he doesn't. In the last few feet, Herbert's engine goes away. Danielle DePorter wins it. 497 to a 499. 284 to a 288. That's worth another look.
Let's go back to the starting line where the advantage was going in the direction of Doug Herbert.
It was. He had a very slight hole shot, as they call it, off the starting line. A little smoke off of Danielle's tires, and that is not conducive to a great elapsed time. All in all, Herbert appeared to be in control at half track, at three-quarter track. But Danielle, she just kept her foot solidly planted on that throttle. You see the oil coming out of Herbert's car. That's a drag race.
So Danielle DePorter moving on to the next round, just barely beating Doug Herbert. We continue, though, with the second round of the Top Fuels, and now it's veteran Eddie Hill going up against Gary Beck.
Here is Gary Beck in the near lane, just now accomplishing the tire heating burnout to not only put heat in the tires, but in the racetrack, clean off the racetrack. A lot of benefits to doing it. He's in a very unique car. It's the 4-cam McGee engine, totally different than anyone out here is using. All the rest of the power plants are conventional pushrod motors. Over in the far lane is a yellow car that Sports World viewers may well remember from 1989, when Eddie Hill performed a blowover right here, completely over backwards. We never thought we'd see that car again. Well, here it is. And in qualifying, it recorded the quickest elapsed time in history at 4.77 seconds. A 5-year-old race car. Gary Beck, well, he qualified number 8 at a 4.94, beat Shelly Anderson in round number 1. He'd be happy with anything in the 4s here. Eddie Hill qualified number 1, obviously, with that 4.77, and beat Russ Collins. But as you know, Joel, he needs to run within 1% of the 4.77 to make that an official NHRA record. So Eddie Hill is looking for a 4.82 to make that back up good. Gary Beck, they are still evolving this McGee motor, still testing it, still trying to get it consistently into the 4s. As we said, it did qualify down at a 4.94, but in this day and age of drag racing, that's not real quick.
Oh, what a hole shot for Eddie Hill.
Well, you got it. Eddie Hill was just long gone. 4.85 seconds, 300 short of backing up the record, but a winner nonetheless. At 291 miles an hour, Gary Beck at 5 seconds flat.
So we are ready now for our Top Fuel semifinals. They will be coming up in just a few minutes. Eddie Hill taking on Ed McCullough. Hill will have the lane choice there with quicker ET. And in the other pair, Corey McClenathan from Southern California against Danielle DePorter. And McClenathan will have the lane choice. Well, while we've got a second, we head back to the pit area now as Ed McCullough continues with his preparations for his Top Fuel semifinal matchup with Eddie Hill. Eddie Hill, he's got to be elated. An opportunity for another championship. Let's check in with the 56-year-old now from Wichita Falls, Texas.
Eddie Hill having a great time with a 4.85. Heat of the day, that's excellent.
We are absolutely having fun. That's good for lane choice, and I love this lane. I don't ever turn over backwards in this lane, it doesn't seem like. And looking forward to being in the Final Four. Hope we can win this deal. Hope we can back up the record.
So Eddie Hill on his way to the semifinals. Thank you, Steve. As we move over to the funny car division now in our first matchup in round number 2, it's Al Hoffman facing Gary Bolger.
Well, here you're on board with Hoffman. You can see the steering wheel trying to keep that car straight in that far lane. Little smoke creeps into the cockpit, but it's no big problem.
And as Al Hoffman gets ready to face Gary Bolger, Al currently, as you look at the points now, in third in the funny car standing. Cruz Pedregon has already wrapped up the season-long championship, overtaking John Force, who has dominated the division in recent years, but Al Hoffman, a very successful campaign again.
Al Hoffman has won 3 races this year. His crew chief, Tommy Anderson, was going to be crew chief of the year for making 168 almost trouble-free runs with a funny car. That's incredible. His competition, Gary Bolger, is the other side of the spectrum. He has never won an NHRA national event, but he is running quicker than he has in his life with a car that doesn't have all of the tricks and all of the computers. Doesn't need any kind of a computer. They just run this car by the seat of their pants as they did in the old days out in Chicago, Illinois, and no one is having more fun drag racing than Gary Bolger, and fewer winning more than Al Hoffman. Hoffman qualified number 3, beat Quint Bazemore in round 1 with a sensational 5.15 second elapsed time. That's a number hard to contend with right now. It's a little hotter. I doubt that he can run that again, Joel.
Hoffman has the lane choice, and Hoffman on the far side. And Al Hoffman pulls away easily early from Gary Bolger.
And indeed falls off a full 10th at 5.25, 286 miles an hour. And Gary Bolger, without the sophisticated clutches that Hoffman is running, smoked the tires and coasted on down the racetrack. So Al Hoffman goes to the final 4.
And we continue in the funny car division, round number 2. It's Cruz Pedregon has already won the season-long championship, going up against Tom Hoover.
And Cruz is the first to ever do it as a rookie in any of the pro classes. He's won 6 races this year, the last 5 in a row, equaling a mark set by Don Prudhomme back in the 70s. After round number 1, Cruz knew he had won the championship. But when I talked to him at the far end, well, he was still very much all business.
It's great, you know, but it's hard for me to get excited right now because, you know, we have a race to run here, but you know, I've had a lot of sleepless nights, and I think it's finally going to come true. We're going to win the championship with this McDonald's car.
Now, Tom Hoover, who is about to face Cruz Pedregon in round number 2, he matched up with Gordon Mineo in round number 1. And let's take a look back now on that incredible problem for Gordon Mineo. You talk about big-time problems. Did he ever?
Oh, yeah, I've never seen this happen before. Watch the car in the far lane. Oh, boom. You know what happened? He blew both rear tires simultaneously. Occasionally, we'll see one tire blow and do a little body damage, but nothing like what we saw here at Pomona in round 1. I talked to a shock driver. What started out as a coupe is now a roadster.
You got that right. I don't know what happened. I've never seen anything like that in all my life.
What do you think happened?
I have no idea, my friend. Those tires only had 5 runs on them or 4 runs. There's nothing wrong with this car. I mean, I don't understand this.
Well, 93 has got to be better.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it will.
So Gordon Mineo fortunate to come out of that one unscathed. And now Tom Hoover, who won that matchup, moves on to his round 2 confrontation with Cruz Pedregon.
Pedregon not only is the champion, he's the national record holder at 5.07 seconds. Cruz has had a dream year for any driver, veteran or rookie. He's against Tom Hoover. Hoover's fading. Hoover comes back. It's Pedregon, but barely at 5.26, 274 miles an hour. He might have shut it off a little early. Almost got bit.
Be right back to continue from Pomona, California.